Hey, good morning. It's Anne Margaret with Raise the Vibration. How are you on this Sunday morning? I'm here sitting in the backyard of our dear friends Mel and Alex in Astoria, New York. And I'm so excited to go live today to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is compassion. And so, as you're getting ready and getting settled, be sure to grab a pencil and paper if you want to write something down, just to remember from your own process from this morning. It'll be no more than 15 minutes that we'll be here together, and it will definitely connect you with the rest of your week ahead and how to root yourself in a higher vibration. So go ahead and get settled. And as you're getting settled, I'll just remind all my Astoria friends and family and students that I am doing a workshop on redefining the human journey next Sunday, which is the 27th of October. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining. I'm seeing some of you pop on. It's going to be beautiful. It's in Astoria, where we are exploring all the feminine archetypes and understanding how to integrate those into our lives and understand the power of the feminine. So many times, especially those of us who live in cities, feel like we're on this treadmill that's never stopping, that never is ceasing. And so we feel like always that masculine go, 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 go energy, which is super powerful. But if we don't find out how to balance that with the feminine energy, then we tend to burn out. We tend to also make it so much harder for ourselves. So hope you can join me next Sunday. Tomorrow's the first or the last day for the early bird discount on that. All right, so get comfortable. Let's get settled. Today, I put in the notes is about compassion. How do we practice this with others? How do we practice this with ourselves? So this morning, I want you to start by thinking about something that has been painful in your life that's recent, that's really ripe, and feels very present for you right now, with something or someone where you feel a lot of judgment, or you feel a lot of anger or resistance or resentment in some way, or you feel like you're being attacked by somebody. So if you can think of somebody in your life like that, and then also perhaps maybe pick a second person, or it might be the same person, that's how it works sometimes, that you are doing this to. So somebody you're judging and someone that you feel you're being judged by. Okay, so if you can, write down those two names right now, just so you have that with you and you have that present. Sometimes when it just lives in our brains, we don't quite get the comprehension of it outside of us, so it kind of controls us within the mind. Okay, and I want to direct you now to the quote that we've probably all heard, that we don't even know where the origin of this quote really is from. Some people say it's Plato, some people say it's Philo of Alexandria, but the quote is this: be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. What would life be like? I know we had a huge rally here in New York City, in Astoria, in Long Island City area for Bernie yesterday, Bernie Sanders. So I know a lot of our friends and family and students were at that rally, and apparently it was a wonderfully high vibrational event. Politics is not always like that, and whether you're for Bernie or you're for somebody else, how do we so viciously treat each other in the realm of politics and religion? Or this is my life and you're disagreeing with how I'm making my choices, or we do this to other people. So today, as far as this connection with compassion and this quote, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle, I see that on people's signatures, sometimes on the emails, which is really beautiful. It's a wonderful reminder for us. But why is this important? A long time ago, one of my teachers said, and it really hit me deeply, that no one can be in your shoes. No one, not one person. We are living a separate existence in this life. And even though we feel that interconnectedness that we feel, no one can feel like what it's like to be in your shoes. And the flip side of that is you can never know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. And if we can remember this one teaching of compassion, our whole lives change. If we let go of that judgment of thinking that we know better than someone else, or we're caught busy judging them for how they're behaving, then we rob ourselves of being connected to our heart center, into that center of compassion. And then we also can provide that for ourselves when we feel that we're being judged by somebody else. How do we create that space for compassion for ourselves? That we can't expect others to understand fully what we're going through, or what we've been through, or the choices that we've made. We can't expect that. And when we do, what happens? What happens to you when you do that to somebody else, expecting them that they're going to understand what it's like or to understand why you made the choices you make? Suffering follows, right? Or arguments follow, or separation, or pain, or arguments, those kind of things. So if we can remember this one quote, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle, or we never know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, and no one knows what it's like to be in ours, we can save ourselves a lot of suffering. So jot down a couple notes, those people in your life that you find yourself judging, and go into your heart, close your eyes, and think for a moment, what could you give them in the space of being generous that they might have been through something that you know nothing about. You don't know what it's like to have been in their shoes in their childhood, what they were taught growing up, the teachers that have been in their lives, or the perpetrators of trauma that have been in their life. And not knowing what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. This is something that I weave through all of my teachings with my teacher trainees. I just saw Mary Egan. Hey, girl, I know she did the chakra workshop, but even all of the workshops that I do, it's so important. I think this one simple teaching does a number for us when we are able to remember that. It gives us access to being compassionate with ourselves and remembering that, oh, see someone's honking out there on the streets of New York City. We don't know what it's like. We just make an assumption about somebody, and then that robs us of true connection with them. So how could you bring your heart into your day and your week ahead? One way I know that when I feel like I'm being judged, or I feel like I've got that unhealthy connection with somebody else, a relationship, I put this in the notes. It's melaleuca oil. Many of you know it as tea tree. Melaleuca is a great oil that you can just put right on the solar plexus. Energetically, it's an oil of emotional boundaries. So when you just feel like, you feel like kind of locked in with somebody, and you feel like you need to release that hold on you, or that grip that you have on attaching yourself to them. And so my melaleuca oil is a really great oil to do with that. Also, we judge so oftentimes because we cannot let go. We want to control people. We want to control circumstance or protect ourselves from other people's actions, words, or how they think about us. So one of my favorite oils for that is elevation. This elevation blend, I'll just put like a little drop on my head and just put my hand there and just say, let go, let God, let go, let God. Just I release any karmic entanglements of this other person, that anybody who has been through something that you feel judgment, you feel as though someone is wrongdoing in some way to you or to someone else you see, that we can't always control that. Oh my gosh, two of my favorite people. Hi, Damon and Martha. Martha, my gosh, just had her tires slashed. I just saw that you posted online. It's so difficult for us to understand why people do what they do. And that's the whole topic today for this Dharma talk, is how do we practice compassion with others? And we never know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. And no one knows what it's like to be in ours. So keep that in mind today. Keep that in mind for your week ahead. Put the elevation blend on, put the melaleuca blend on. I want to pick also two cards, as I usually do on these Dharma talks over the weekends. If this is the first time you're joining me, I usually do it every Saturday or every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when I'm in Colorado, it's at 9 o'clock hour, or 8 o'clock for those of you on Pacific. So let's go ahead and just pick an archetype card to help connect this message even more deeply with what we are practicing this morning and thinking about meditating on with compassion. So let's pick the archetype card this morning, the Queen, which is really cool because this coming Sunday, next Sunday, a week from today, the early bird discount expires tomorrow for this workshop I'm doing next Sunday. It's all about harnessing all of the archetypes of the feminine, that to really put into balance that go, 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 go masculine energy that we find ourselves in, those of us especially in the cities, of like really driving forward our dreams and goals, but forgetting that we are robbing ourselves of that hope and the power of the feminine. So Queen, what does this mean for today's talk? The light attributes of the Queen archetype are: radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others, So the queen is the one who is responsible as the ruler for also holding that space of protection, of reminding the people who are in her realm to remind themselves of compassion. She's the one who holds that space of love and of patience and of that compassionate energy for her subjects, or really just her tribe of people. To be a true leader, you need to be an example of that yourself. So let's look at the shadow aspects of this. The shadow aspects of this queen archetype are: becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. So becomes arrogant when authority is challenged. It's like when somebody questions you in some way, to just write them off for some reason, but maybe they're asking for a reason. Maybe they're asking for their own inquiry, and it just comes out kind of nasty. Or controlling and demanding, when you're trying to manipulate, we're trying to overly control what's happening in our lives, rather than allowing that flow of energy, that flow of the feminine, to come in and to honor when the path changes course, because it does, doesn't it? So the that wisdom of that queen archetype today, in relationship to this compassionate energy, this teaching today that we're exploring. Beautiful, beautiful archetype card to pick today. And Melanie, thank you guys so much for joining. All right, goddess card. Let's pick a goddess card. Goddess cards are so beautiful, these intuition cards. Let's see what card we pick today. Beautiful. Isolde, undying love. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. This is such a beautiful card to pick for this, because for compassionate energy, we think about the people who challenge us most in our lives. Maybe it's our family, maybe it's our friends, maybe it's our community of people, whatever this is, maybe it's our coworkers. To remember this Isolde, this energy, this goddess energy of undying love, we're reminding ourselves that even though we're in separate bodies, we're having this connected experience, this interconnected experience, where we are all going through separate experiences of being on this human journey. And back to the beginning of this talk, we never know what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. So while we may be very critical of the leaders in our country or in our world, the leaders in our community, the parents or the archetypes of the authority figures in our lives, we are standing on their shoulders. We are taking what they're bringing to the table, and it is our responsibility to take that and upgrade it. So how can we do that in our own personal life? Who are those people in your life that you judge relentlessly, or you feel are judging you? And how can you bring that energy of compassion? How can you remind yourself that you can't expect them to know what it's like to be in your shoes, and you can never know what it's like to be in theirs. We're all walking this human journey, guys, right? And we're walking it alone, even though we surround ourselves with great people and we do our best to have those sisters and brothers and parents and children and that chosen family and our biological family to be by our sides. It's really a very much a journey of solitude. So how can we have compassion for ourselves and validate our own feelings, validate our own journey, and keep our own cheerleader and our greatest friend, our greatest supporter, be the one that in the mirror that we see. So Isolde, undying love. Remember infinite amount of patience with yourself and others this week, exploring that energy of compassion, remembering to be kind, for everyone is fighting a hard battle that we know nothing about. All right. All right. Many blessings to all of you guys. Have a beautiful week. And remember that tomorrow is the last day for early bird discount for the workshop I'm teaching in Astoria, New York. So can't wait to see all of your beautiful faces. We already have a wonderful group signed up, but I know we definitely have at least a few more spots remaining. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Until next time, keep raising the vibration. Okay. Bye, guys.